Hey y'all, welcome back to American Heritage Homestead. I wanted to talk to you about raising meat chickens or meat birds today. If you are looking to become a little more self-sufficient, one way you can do that is by raising your own meat, raising your own chickens. If you don't have a lot of property, this is something that you can do. The name of my channel is American Heritage Homestead because my heart is to go back to our heritage and America's beginnings. And when they left England to come here, and they landed at Plymouth Rock, they had to learn how to raise their own food, build their own houses, all these different things, right? Work with their hands. And what happened today is that we have become consumers instead of producers, right? So my heart is to help people go back to our heritage, back to our beginnings, and learn how to raise your own food. There is so much beauty that comes from doing that, right? And seeing the fruit of your labor. So one way you can do that is by raising meat chickens. The birds that we raise right now are called Cornish Cross, and they go from chick to slaughter in 6 to 8 weeks. It's super quick. They were bred to produce rapidly and quickly. Is it as natural of a process? No. But to me right now, it's better than what you're getting in the grocery store, right? Because you know exactly what's in your meat. You know what you're feeding them, right? Most of the meat that you're buying in the store is from factory farmed. They're in these buildings. They don't go outside. They don't really see sunlight. They're just basically fed corn, right? And they can even say that they're free range, but sometimes that just means like a tiny little door that they're able to walk out. But they don't, right? And so they're not that healthy, right? What's healthy is the natural way of doing things, is having animals outside in the sun eating naturally what they're supposed to eat. Now, I can't say that Cornish Cross is the best option for that. They're definitely the fastest and most convenient. Right now, I am definitely going to switch to heritage breeds because you can see the difference between, I'll show you, the Cornish Cross versus my egg-laying chicks, right, or other heritage breeds. So when I bring them out and put them on grass, it's almost like the Cornish Cross have no idea what to do, right? We can say that they are grass-fed because they're out on grass, and they will eat some, but they are bred to live off of feed, right? So when you go to feed them, man, they are wild for that feed because it's just in their genetics, right? While the other chicks, heritage breeds, are scratching, feeding, looking for food. So you can definitely see the difference in genetics and how they operate. It's not as natural of a process, right? And it's not when we're really supposed to, slaughter chickens at, I don't even know what a normal 16 weeks or 20 weeks, something like that, and we're doing it at 6 weeks, right? I'm just trying to give you everything so people understand. Everybody's like, go get Cornish Cross, go, go, go. And I'm not saying don't do it because I'm doing it, right? That is what we have been doing. But it's not my long-term goal. But to get meat for your family, to fill up your freezer, right, to get your food back in your own hands, I think that it is honestly a great start. It's super easy, right? I showed you, you take them home, you just set up a little brooder, right? Make sure they have enough space. So we're actually transitioning ours today. They grew out of that little brooder super quick. And I think they're at about 2 weeks old right now. And they don't go outside until about 3 weeks when they have their feathers. And so from 3 weeks on, they will be on grass, right? We'll use a movable coop, so they're on fresh grass every day because think about all the feed that you have to give them. They're constantly going to the bathroom, and so if you're not really putting them on grass, it's not going to be super sanitary. That's for anything, but especially these birds. So we move it once a day. Sometimes you can move it twice a day, and then they're just getting fresh grass and everything that they should be. So they will be eating feed and grass, where heritage breeds, you don't really need as much feed. It's a little bit longer growing out process, which is why a lot of people go with the Cornish Cross because it's quick and you're done quickly, right? So that is one way that you can start. So then I'll take you through the process, but they say around 6 to 8 weeks. It depends how big you want your bird to be, how much you feed them. I'll be honest, like a lot of people will overfeed because they want the bird to grow quickly. I just can't do that because they grow too quickly for their body. Then they have leg issues and all things. So we didn't overfeed them last time. So our birds were definitely smaller. I'm going to try to feed them a little more this time. It's kind of like you just see what works best. And I know we probably won't get as many next time. There's just no need. You can do it in different sections, like the beginning. of spring, and then in the fall, if you want to do 25 and 25 or whatever works for you. But we wanted to just do it in one time and get it over with. So in 8 weeks, I think we did it at 8 weeks last time just because of kind of how our schedules, we had just moved in and it was a lot. But then you would slaughter, and there's ways to humanely do that. And I just want to say too, I know that raising meat chickens is hard for people. Me, when I had my farm 10 years ago, I couldn't even think about harming one of my animals, right? Because it's like, I know them, they trust me, all of that. But then I truly had to see after many years later that, you know, they're there to feed us, right? They are a blessing, and I do my best to give them the best life possible. And I think people would call me crazy for the things that I do that most people probably wouldn't, like trying to put them out on grass quickly every day. You know, last time we had like 4 bins of them. And so I would carry each bin out every day and put them all out on grass, put them back in the bin, back. And it's just like, most people just leave them in their brooder for 3 weeks and don't care about them coming outside because they're going to be out from 3 weeks on, which I get. But I just like, I just want them to see the sunshine. I want them to have, you know, fresh air, grass, fresh food, bugs, things like that in their natural habitat. You know, that's my heart. And so anyway, we're a quarter of the way, and so I'm taking my meat birds and I'm going to put them out on grass for the first time today, and we're transitioning them over to the new coop. Okay, this is their first time going out. We're going to put them outside. Spread your wings. Yeah, careful. Hi guys, look at that. They're like, what is going on? Where am I? Hi guys. So when you're raising Cornish Cross, you know, you raise your chicks inside under a heat lamp. It usually takes about 3 weeks for them to get all of their feathers, so they still have a little over a week before they can go out. So they're going to go into their new coop today that will give them more space to move around. They'll still have a heat lamp in there. And then after 3 weeks, they're going to be out on grass permanently until about 8 weeks or so. Okay, so this is where we are moving our meat birds to. If you've seen in the other videos, we have them in a smaller brooder that's about 2 feet by 6 feet, and they have outgrown it very quickly. So we're going to transition them over to, you don't need anything fancy like this, but because we're doing this, I really wanted a brooder for several different reasons. But we're going to move them in here. So this is a 3 foot by 8 foot, so they're going to have double the space, right? Then they basically have 1 more week in here until they go on grass until we're done.
All right, pro tip that I just invented. Since we're going to use this space for the meat birds, we're not going to waste the good shavings on them because they're going to just poop like the dirty poop heads they are.
Constantly.
And ruin the shavings that were down there no matter how good the shavings were. So we're going to put them in here. We're going to let them live in here until it's time for them to go out and be on grass. So they're going to poop and ruin these shavings, and it's going to be a nightmare to clean up when that day comes. So what I'm going to do is take some leftover tar paper, get it in place, and I'm going to just do just like that. This space worked out perfectly because it was just about 3 feet, and that's what the tar paper is. All I'm doing is 1, 2 staples on that side.
Beautiful.
And 3, 4 staples. And the fact that it's actually bigger on that end and this end, you know, this stick one staple here so it's not in their face. So what's gonna happen is they're gonna come and poop and do all their things. And when it's time to get rid of these shavings, we're just gonna pull off those staples, wrap this whole thing up in a pretty little bun.
Smart.
And that will be that. And I may even do it under the roosting bars.
That's not a bad idea.
For the same idea.
Perfect.
You show them our permanent welcome.
Welcome, Matt.
Well, because everybody's going to come in there with wet, snowy, muddy shoes.
Yeah.
And that piece of wood is going to take the brunt of everything. See, in this target.
Look at this.
The shavings in there too, which is nice.
They're going to be some happy chickens with more room. Okay, so we put the paper here too, which will be good for now. And we'll throw some shavings over that. Okay, it's time to get all of these chicks into their new home. Oh boy. All they're doing is laying in the sun and hiding. Good job. Good job. Hi guys. You're gonna be happy in your new home. So we're setting up the heat lamps, which are coming through. We put fresh water, and for the first 3 weeks we are giving unlimited feed. So we just keep that full for them, and then we'll go 12 hours on, 12 hours off, or else they'll just overfeed and keep eating because they are bred to eat as much as they can. You're gonna have to limit it if you don't want them, you don't want to have health issues. So it's better to do that. So now we're gonna bring them in for the first time. Okay. Oh yeah, much happier, a lot more room. I'm super happy for them. They can stretch their feet, move around. We got a few more coming. All right, guys. Oh my gosh, that is perfect. So they were just sitting outside in the sun, so I'm not going to put the heat lamps on just yet. He has those tied up on nails as well, so they don't fall down. We don't want any issues with fires or things like that. But now they have plenty of space, and they'll only have 1 week in here, which they're gonna, you'll see, grow very quickly. And then we're gonna put them out on grass. My husband just cleaned out that coop, and we are saving all of the leftovers to put in a compost pile. No waste. Beautiful.
All right.
We have some happy meat birds inside. They have fresh, look at this sunlight shining on them. I absolutely love these windows. Okay guys, that's a wrap for the day. Thanks for following along. I hope this helps some of you who are looking to raise some meat chickens for yourself. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. We will be showing the rest of the process up until 8 weeks. So follow along, like, and subscribe to continue to watch the journey.